The Raiders have been famous for their colorful players, adversarial style, and winning tradition. Another trademark that has lasted throughout team history has been the long pass. Wideouts such as Art Powell, Warren Wells, and contemporary star Tim Brown have all been productive deep threats. But no Raider was more feared by opposing defensive backs than Cliff Branch. Whether the quarterback was LaMonica, Stabler, or Plunkett, Branch was always the target when yards were needed in a hurry. Branch's reception totals were gaudy, but what was even more impressive was that most of his big plays came when the Raiders were staring in the face of defeat.
We always talked about the big bad Raiders, and here we had to hide. We had to parade Cliff Branch out there. He was 155 pounds. He was so skinny his back pockets would fight when he'd walk.
But Cliff Branch's motto was run, don't walk. He was an undernourished and undisciplined receiver when he joined the Raiders in 1972. But his Olympic-caliber speed turned uphill battles into downhill races. And for 14 glorious seasons, Branch ran through stop signs and ignored speed limits.
Cliff Branch was the ultimate threat for the Raiders because we threw the deep ball. He would stretch the defense. Those guys were just afraid that he'd blow by them, and ultimately he would blow by them. I mean, he was the ultimate deep threat in the game of football.
Well, I think it put a lot of fear in the defensive back because of the fact that you closed the cushion so much, and when they said the bomb was back in Oakland, they was talking about one player, and they was talking about Clifford Branch.
Cliff Branch believed that he could beat anyone deep on any play. Cliff would always come back, and he'd tell me, Coach, I can beat him deep. And he'd tell Kenny Stabler. He said, Snake, I can beat him deep. And sometimes he would say it while they're playing the national anthem. You know, I mean, he would say, so we haven't even played yet. How do you know you can beat the guy deep?
Branch has always been perceived strictly as a speed machine. Rev him up, and he ran away from defenders. But he worked hard to become a total receiver, combining his gift of speed with the gift of grab. Branch gave the same lessons to all-pro defensive backs that he learned from Hall of Fame defensive backs.
We get Cliff in practice and just try to beat him down. I mean, really go after him. So when it came to game time, it was pretty easy for Cliff because he had gone against the best.
You can control your speed by just concentrating real hard on running your routes because the defensive back are going to fear you because of your great speed. But I think the reason I was able to control my speed is because I learned to run precision routes.
Branch was uncanny in the clutch and part of the seas of defense, remaining the only man afloat.
Cliff was a classic example of Al Davis's definition of a great player. Great players are the players who make big plays in big games. Cliff is a vivacious, effervescent kind of guy who lit up in big games. Who just laughed and loved it and got excited about it and pranced.
The Saints jumped out on us real early, and the coach had benched me in part of the game, and we were falling behind, and I was just waiting impatiently to get in the game. And Coach Flores sent me in the game and got 2 or 3 scores quickly, and it turned the game around for us.
Back under heavy rush, gets to Branch to the 42, gets away down to the 30, to the 50, to the 40, to the 30. He's going to go all the way. The 20, the 10, the 5. Touchdown Raiders.
He was a guy who, when the game was on the line, when you could break the game, that's when he made the big plays.
Stabler back, he's going to pass, looking one way, comes back to the right, throws to Branch on the 2, scrambles, backpedaling, pawing, scrapping, touchdown Raiders! What an incredible story.
He was a money man. Postseason time came, it was time to go to work. It's money. We used to always say, hey, they got their hands in our pockets, they're trying to take money out of it. We got to go get it.
Back is Plunkett. Time to throw. Deep to the end zone to Branch. It is caught by Branch. Touchdown Raiders. Holy Toledo.
the littlest Raider became the biggest player on the field in championship games. His feats were indelibly etched in silver and black, then forever sealed in black and white.
He is the all-time leader in the National Football League in catches and yardage in postseason games. He had 73 catches, 1,289 yards in postseason games.